Robert Mitchum was deaf, blind, and nearly lost a leg before his death became painful. Robert Mitchum was one of Hollywood's most iconic and versatile actors, with a career that spanned over 5 decades. Born on August 6, 1917, in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Mitchum's early life was marked by hardship. His father, a railroad worker, died in a tragic accident when Robert was just 2 years old. His mother, left to raise 3 children alone, worked as a linotype operator to support the family. Mitchum's early years were tough, and he was known for being something of a rebellious and free-spirited child. By the time he was a teenager, he had already run away from home multiple times, riding the rails and taking on various odd jobs to survive. These formative experiences shaped Mitchum's tough, rugged persona, which later became a hallmark of his acting career. Mitchum's path to Hollywood was not a direct one. Before he found his way into acting, he worked as a boxer, a professional ditch digger, and even served time on a chain gang in Georgia, an experience that deeply affected him and hardened his resolve to escape a life of poverty. In 1940, Mitchum moved to California, where he initially found work writing for the stage and radio. He eventually made his way to small roles in westerns, where his imposing physique and cool, detached demeanor quickly caught the attention of casting directors. His big break came in 1944, when he was cast in a supporting role in the war drama 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. However, it was his role in the 1945 film The Story of G.I. Joe that truly launched his career and earned him his first and only Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Over the next several decades, Robert Mitchum solidified his place as one of Hollywood's top leading men. Known for his deep, gravelly voice, sleepy-eyed appearance, and effortless cool, Mitchum was equally adept at playing heroes, anti-heroes, and villains. One of his most celebrated roles came in the 1955 film The Night of the Hunter, where he portrayed the menacing Reverend Harry Powell, a psychopathic preacher who stalks 2 children for their inheritance. Mitchum's chilling performance as Powell is widely regarded as one of the greatest in film history, and the film itself has since become a classic. Mitchum was also known for his roles in film noir, a genre that perfectly suited his brooding, laconic style. Films like Out of the Past, 1947, His Kind of Woman, 1951, and The Big Steal, 1949, showcased his ability to play morally ambiguous characters, often hardened by life's challenges. His performances were marked by a sense of world weariness, with an undercurrent of danger that made his characters both compelling and unpredictable. This persona was a reflection of Mitchum's real-life personality. He was often described as a man who didn't take Hollywood too seriously and preferred to live on his own terms. He once famously quipped, "I have 2 kinds of acting, with and without a horse." Despite his success, Mitchum was never entirely comfortable with the trappings of fame. He was known for his nonchalant attitude toward Hollywood, often downplaying his acting skills and refusing to conform to the industry's expectations. In 1948, Mitchum's bad boy image was cemented when he was arrested for possession of marijuana, a scandal that could have ended his career. However, in true Mitchum fashion, he shrugged off the controversy, serving a brief jail sentence and returning to work as if nothing had happened. His fans remained loyal, and his career continued to thrive. In addition to his film work, Mitchum had a passion for music and released several albums during his career. His baritone voice lent itself well to both traditional pop and calypso music, and his 1957 album Calypso Is Like So received favorable reviews. He also sang the theme songs for some of his films, including Thunder Road, 1958, a movie he co-wrote and starred in, which became a cult favorite. Mitchum's later career saw him transition into more mature, fatherly roles, though he never lost his edge. In the 1970s, he starred in notable films like The Friends of Eddie Coyle, 1973, where he played a down-and-out small-time crook, and the remake of Farewell, My Lovely, 1975, in which he portrayed Raymond Chandler's iconic detective Philip Marlowe. Mitchum brought a weathered, melancholic quality to these roles, reflecting both the aging of his characters and his own experience in the industry. In 1991, Mitchum was awarded the Cecil B. DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement at the Golden Globes, a testament to his enduring impact on the film industry. Despite his tough guy persona, Mitchum was a man of considerable depth and intelligence, known for his wit and his ability to distill complex ideas into simple, profound statements. He was a man who defied Hollywood conventions, both in his career choices and in his personal life. During his later years, he also ventured into television and appeared in a number of TV films and miniseries. A very hard-working man, he remained active as an actor well into his 70s. Some of his last projects, Backfire, Dead Man, and Waiting for Sunset, was released in 1995, just a couple of years before his death. One of the lesser-known aspects of Mitchum's career was his foray into music as a singer. In 1957, Mitchum released his debut album Calypso, Is Like So, on Capitol Records. At the time, calypso music was enjoying a wave of popularity in the United States, thanks to artists like Harry Belafonte. Mitchum, however, didn't just dabble in the genre superficially. He immersed himself in the sound and culture of calypso, adopting the rhythmic patterns, the laid-back vibe, and even the unique dialect and slang characteristic of the genre. He fully committed to the style, emulating the patois and musical phrasings of authentic Caribbean musicians, which lent his performances a surprising authenticity for an American actor. Songs like Mama Luca Boo Boo and From a Logical Point of View displayed his ability to mimic the calypso accent, which gave the album a playful, albeit curious, appeal. While Calypso, Is Like So, didn't top the charts, it demonstrated Mitchum's eclectic taste in music and his willingness to take creative risks. The album has since garnered a cult following, appreciated for its charm, novelty, and Mitchum's unique take on the genre. A year after his calypso experiment, Mitchum shifted gears back to a more familiar American genre when he wrote and recorded The Ballad of Thunder Road for his 1958 film Thunder Road, in which he starred as a moonshine runner. This self-penned song, infused with a country and folk flavor, was a natural extension of the film's southern, rebellious spirit. The song recounts the story of a young man who defies the law by transporting illegal moonshine across state lines, a plotline that closely mirrors the film's narrative. Despite being relatively simple musically, The Ballad of Thunder Road resonated with audiences for its narrative quality and Mitchum's gravelly, sincere delivery. The song became a modest hit, peaking at number 69 on the Billboard Pop Singles chart. Its success wasn't confined to radio airplay. The song also played a crucial role in promoting Thunder Road, contributing to the film's enduring popularity, especially among fans of both Mitchum and car chase films. Even though Mitchum would occasionally sing in his movies, he didn't actively pursue a music career until nearly a decade later. In 1967, he revisited his musical ambitions with a country album titled That Man, Robert Mitchum, Sings, released by Monument Records. By this time, Mitchum had found a genre that more closely aligned with his persona and acting roles, country music. The album featured songs that blended storytelling and melody, with themes of heartache, love, and the gritty realities of life, echoing Mitchum's tough guy screen image. The first single from the album, Little Old Wine Drinker Me, was a major success on the country charts, peaking at number 9, and even crossed over to mainstream radio, where it reached number 96. Mitchum's deep, rough voice proved to be well suited to country music's emotional and often melancholic tones. The song's success further established him as a legitimate musical artist, not just a movie star dabbling in another medium. Following the success of Little Old Wine Drinker Me, Mitchum released another single from the album, You Deserve Each Other, which also charted on the Billboard Country Singles chart, although it didn't reach the same heights as its predecessor. Despite this, Mitchum's country music career continued to attract attention, and he further solidified his presence in the genre by performing the title song for the 1969 Western Young Billy Young. The song, like much of his country work, carried a rugged, down-to-earth sensibility that mirrored Mitchum's on-screen persona. His contributions to the soundtrack helped promote the film while also keeping him relevant in the country music world. Robert Mitchum, the legendary Hollywood actor, faced numerous physical challenges in the later years of his life, many of which were deeply debilitating. Known for his rugged good looks and iconic performances in films like Out of the Past, 1947, and Night of the Hunter, 1955, Mitchum's larger-than-life presence on screen belied the personal struggles he endured in private, particularly as he aged. Mitchum's hearing loss was one of the first significant physical issues to arise. Decades spent on loud film sets, particularly during the golden age of Hollywood when sound technology was not as advanced as today, may have contributed to his deafness. Additionally, Mitchum was known for his love of music, especially jazz and country, but in later years, the joy of sound became a distant memory. His inability to hear clearly took a toll on both his career and personal life, as it hindered his ability to communicate and impacted his performances. Despite the severity of his hearing loss, Mitchum remained stoic, rarely speaking about this difficulty in public, in keeping with the tough, no-nonsense persona he was famous for. Alongside his hearing, Mitchum's vision also began to deteriorate, making him effectively blind in the years leading up to his death. His blindness was particularly devastating for a man who had once relied on his intense, expressive eyes to captivate audiences. The gradual loss of vision has been linked to a variety of causes, including cataracts, macular degeneration, or other age-related eye conditions. As his vision declined, Mitchum faced increasing challenges with mobility and independence. Reading scripts, watching films, and even enjoying the beauty of the outdoors became nearly impossible for him. Despite these hardships, Mitchum's resilience showed through as he adapted to his condition, though it isolated him from many of the pleasures and people he had once cherished. In addition to his sensory impairments, Mitchum also dealt with severe leg issues that nearly led to amputation. Reports suggest that he suffered from severe vascular problems or diabetes, which can severely affect circulation, particularly in the legs. Poor circulation can lead to gangrene, ulcers, or other complications, and Mitchum reportedly came close to losing a leg. Such a loss would have been catastrophic for anyone, but for a man like Mitchum, who had been physically active and independent for much of his life, it would have been even more devastating. Although he narrowly avoided the amputation, the condition of his leg undoubtedly added to his physical discomfort and limited his mobility, making his final years all the more challenging. As his health worsened, Mitchum's physical suffering became more acute. By the time of his death in 1997, at the age of 79, he was enduring immense pain, not only from the ailments that nearly cost him his leg but from a host of other conditions that had ravaged his body. His last years were plagued by both emphysema, due to a lifelong habit of heavy smoking, and complications from lung cancer, which ultimately led to his death. Mitchum, who had lived a life of toughness and resilience, was no stranger to pain, but his final battle was a grim one. The decline in his health, coupled with his sensory impairments, meant that Mitchum was isolated and incapacitated in his last days, experiencing a profound deterioration of both his physical abilities and his quality of life. In his final years, Robert Mitchum exemplified the tragic trajectory of a man who once embodied physical strength and screen presence, only to face a series of debilitating conditions that robbed him of his senses, mobility, and vitality. His passing, marked by pain and suffering, was a stark contrast to the indomitable figure that audiences had admired for decades. Despite the immense hardships he faced, Mitchum remained a symbol of endurance and grit, both in his life and his career.